couple of days ago I saw Transformers 1. The best Transformers movie ever made. Oh yeah, we're starting off this video like that. When I was a young lad, I loved the Transformers series. I owned all my favourite Autobot toys and watched whatever iteration they aired on TV. Whether it was the phenomenal 80s toy advertisement that is Transformers G1, the 2000s techno spectacular that is Transformers Cybertron, or the dark and deep story told in Transformers Prime. I grew up on this franchise, and while I definitely felt like a kid again watching this movie, I was brought back to reality pretty quickly when the plot twist of the movie came into play. This movie is low-key a Marxist commentary on society, and it tells the story of a proletariat uprising that would bring a tear to Karl Marx's eye. And I'm gonna tell you why. The movie follows two miners, Orion Pax and D16, before they become the sworn enemies Optimus Prime and Megatron. They live on planet Cybertron, which is currently in a pretty bad state. The leaders of the Transformers, the Primes, are currently on the surface fighting off the Quintessons, and the current leader of the Transformers, Sentinel Prime, will return now and again to give PR about how the miners are heroes in their own right, and how they have to mine harder than Jablinski Games. A lot of the Transformers in the movie cannot transform because they are missing cores, hence why they are sent to mine for energon, as the war has stopped the energon from flowing naturally throughout the planet, and the Transformers need it as it's their main power source. Pax is the optimist of the duo, and he constantly tries to prove to D16 that they're worth more than being miners. However, this causes them to get into a lot of trouble quite a few times. And although D16 does seem to agree with Pax's sentiment, he's very happy with conforming to the norms of their society and working his way up the ranks the correct way. But the big plot twist of the movie reveals that Sentinel Prime is a fraud and that everything they knew was a lie. With help of Bumblebee and Elita 1, Pax and D16 go to the surface and meet Alpha Trion, who was with the Primes when they all were on the surface. But he reveals to them that Sentinel sold out the Primes, got them all killed, that all Transformers are born with cogs and Sentinel stole them from the miners, and that all the energon that is mined gets given to the Quintessons so that they'll leave the Transformers be while Sentinel can live in luxury. We also find out that Sentinel's not even a Prime, he just calls himself that. This revelation then leads to the slow deterioration of Pax and D16's relationship. Alpha Trion gives them the cogs of the fallen Primes, and they go back to the city and reveal the truth about Sentinel. However, the movie ends with Orion Pax becoming Optimus Prime and D16 becoming Megatron, solidifying them becoming sworn enemies and completely dividing the Transformers. Okay, now that you're caught up, let's get up to why I think this movie is a great depiction of the Marxist perspective on society. On the 21st of February 1848, the Communist Manifesto was first published. It was written by Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. This book put forth Marx's main ideas as to how society was run at the time and why it needs to change. Marx viewed society as a way to exploit the poor so that the rich could prosper. He argues that there is a clear contradiction in some societies where the lower class people are creating the goods that are being enjoyed by the rich. And many people still believe that society runs this way because in a lot of ways it does. And the inevitable solution that the Marxists believe in is that the proletariat will have a communist uprising and overthrow the capitalist bourgeoisie. Now, although there are a lot of opinions on Marxism, it is a very important viewpoint to try to understand, as it dives deep into how a lot of societies have obsessions with materialism and consumerism, but more specifically to the topic of this video, the exploitation of the lower class and the solution to it. I know that Transformers 1 isn't the only movie to create a storyline where the people rise up against the big forces that are exploiting them and trying to control them. I mean, you got A Bug's Life or the Lego Movie, but I think Transformers 1 stands out enough against these other movies, not just because it would tell a story that Marx and Engels would die to watch, but because it evaluates the Marxist perspective and their solution in practice. Sorry, I'm sick. I don't know if you guys can tell.
You're a fraud, Spider-Man!
Hey there, could you subscribe to me please? I worked hard on this video. I know I've been gone for a while, but my goal was to hit 10,000 subscribers this year, and, you know, there's only 2 months left of the year, so, I might need all the help I can get. Thanks.
After we learn the plot twist of this movie, Optimus and Megatron have their second major point of conflict with each other. Whilst they both agree that Sentinel Prime needs to be stopped and the people need to be enlightened that they're being exploited, they have a disagreement as to how they should do it. Optimus argues that they should use video proof and evidence to show the people the truth and that their enlightenment will be able to change the system. However, not only does Megatron argue that it won't be enough to show them this evidence, but he personally wants to kill Sentinel Prime, as he took the betrayal of their leader very, very personally, especially as he looked up to him and respected him so much to the point where he even saw Sentinel as a role model, all for him to find out that the person he wanted to be like was exploiting him. In this rift, we see the two viewpoints within this upcoming Marxist revolution. Whilst Optimus represents the base form of Marxism, where he fights to free the lower class members of their exploitation and give them the liberation that they deserve, Megatron says screw all that and takes on a radical extremist view on the Marxist uprising, where he wants to destroy the status quo and all the people who exploited him and his peers. Now, the brilliance in all of this is that whilst Optimus's view is clearly the right way to go about the situation, motivation, we also low-key want to see Megatron turn into a blick and unload on Sentinel. The movie makes us want Megatron to get his revenge on the bourgeoisie who exploited him and lied to him, but in doing so, he ends up losing the root of his argument, going too far to the point where he's not even acting for the greater good, but for himself, which result in the consequence of him killing his own best friend. Kinda. So Sentinel Prime is staring down the barrel of Megatron's gun, ready to die. But in an attempt to once again stop Megatron, Optimus jumps in the way and catches the blow. Which is about to send him over a cliff, but Megatron catches him. Whilst you'd expect him to show remorse or empathy for his actions like you would in a lot of stories like this, instead, Megatron coldly lets Optimus know that he's done saving him, and he drops him to die. Now wait a minute, this is a prequel, so we know that this is gonna happen, but I still expected Megatron to pull up Optimus and apologize or something. This movie works as a great prequel because it stands alone to tell a story that gaslights the audience into believing that we don't already know how the story is going to go. And I think that's the true appeal of making a good prequel. My favorite TV show is Better Call Saul, the prequel to Breaking Bad, and I've said this before, but I think Better Call Saul is better than Breaking Bad, as it's able to do exactly what Transformers 1 does, but to even higher standards. But because of Jar Jar Binks and sand, people don't respect prequels, so that's probably one of the reasons why this movie isn't doing so well. I found it both extremely depressing and hilariously ironic that this movie has been struggling to gain numbers at the box office. It scares me because we finally got something good from Hollywood rather than the usual slop we're fed, but if it doesn't make any money then there might be no more of it. And I find it very ironic because of it voicing an anti-capitalist message, and then failing at the box office, which in turn lost the big studio money. But the thing is, whilst this is a very poetic way for this movie to result in, I loved it. I haven't watched a Transformers movie since Revenge of the Fallen. I never feel happy or like it's even worth my time to watch the trailer of a Transformers movie when it comes out anymore, due to Hollywood pretty much abandoning art to make money. But when I saw how many people were advocating for this film and saying it was good, I had to give it a shot. This movie is a prime example of how these IP movies can be good art and sell their toys and merch and whatever. Hollywood is in a pretty trash state right now, and we still could use some more original ideas rather than this cesspool of intellectual property movies. And it doesn't seem to be getting better because there's gonna be a Minecraft movie, and Hasbro said there's gonna be a Monopoly movie. And the past few years have also shown that this is gonna be an issue that we're gonna have to deal with. But this movie is one of the good ones. They just failed to advertise it right. So in conclusion, Karl Marx would be very proud of this movie, and I want to see a follow-up to this, alright? If you haven't seen the movie, trust me, it's still worth seeing after I spoiled it for you. It's that good. But hey, go pay for the movie. Don't be a bum and watch it on the internet, alright? If you watch it on the internet, then you're gonna be exactly the reason why this movie's failing. Also, Brian Tyree Henry, bro, killed it as always. Big ups to bro. Alright, thanks for watching the video.
Hit that like button.